Hi everyone, welcome to our Lent devotion for Friday, March 26th. We continue our story in Mark 14. Jesus sent two of his disciples, saying to them, "Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him, and wherever he enters, say to the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks, where is my guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs." And that's where we'll read. There's a little bit more to the story, but this is I've always kind of enjoyed the circumstantial nature of this one, that Jesus just sends two of his disciples knowing they're going to encounter the servant. And of course, in the city, a servant carrying a jar of water will go to a house that is pretty wealthy and pretty large. You can go to Jerusalem today and they have what we think is the upper room. The guest room is an upper room where Jesus and his disciples ate the Passover meal. And it's larger than anything that you could think. I'm sitting here in the fellowship hall. Of course, you see the tree behind me, and I thank you for gathering all the leaves for it. It's starting to look very colorful and very wonderful. Anyway, it's a huge room. Because remember, it was more than Jesus and the 12 all sitting on the one side of the table with Jesus doing his big arms thing, right? That was Leonardo's painting of it several hundred years later. That this was Jesus and like 100 of his friends. And so the room they're in is this big, spacious hall, probably as big as our entire church from front to back. Even bigger, maybe. I don't know. I've never been there. I've never seen it. But it's this humongous room that they would have sat around. The devotion talks a little bit about what this would have looked like, right? It was a very low table. They would have reclined on cushions, not sat in chairs. The culture was very different. And they would have organized themselves in a certain way, and that plays into some of the other depictions of who's next to Jesus and who leans whose head on whose shoulder, etc., etc. That's all part of their arrangement. So, but the idea that all of these things are being prepared, and some of these things seem to be even out of Jesus's control, like they are just things that he knows will happen, right? He just knows that this guest room is ready. And it might be that he even knows the people he's going to see. He might even be directing his disciples to this one particular person that he knows, and he knows the owner of the house, and the owner of the house is expecting him, and all of these preparations are being made behind the scene. But that Jesus knows that there is a place. There's a place prepared. Right? And Jesus promises that in the Gospel of John. He says that he tells his disciples, "I will go ahead of you and prepare a place for you." Right? And the idea that that's happened for him. Now, this also plays into Luke's Christmas story. Remember, Mary and Joseph travel to Bethlehem, and there is no place for them. And so they stay with the animals. Right, and that word for that in Luke's gospel is the same guest room or upper room, right? There is no place prepared for them, but here at the end of his life, there is a place prepared for him. There is this large room upstairs that has been prepared, that is ready, that Jesus and his disciples will eat this Passover meal, this ritual celebration of God's work in the world. And we'll read tomorrow how Jesus takes that meal and works with it into what he is going to do. And we'll celebrate that next Thursday, on Maundy Thursday. We'll read this story again about how Jesus takes that Passover meal and then shows how it relates and how it expands the wonder and the mystery of what he is doing in his death. Let's close with our prayer. Move our hearts to sing the story of your love, O Lord, and to proclaim your faithfulness forever. Amen. God bless you today.